get started in about 1 minute, you guys. I'm excited to talk to you today. If you're here, say hello in the comments section below. If you've shared my video already, thank you so much for sharing it. I really appreciate that. 30 seconds to go. Hope that you are having an amazing day. My name is Manny Cabrera. I am the chief instructor and owner at Sidekicks Family Martial Arts Center, and I hope that you are having a powerful day. Remember, it's up to you to make that day powerful, and I'm excited to talk to you today. So let's get a little bit situated right here. We're going to wait a couple more seconds for people to get online with us. If you would, go ahead and do me a solid. For everyone that actually shares my video, you're going to receive my free document on creating consistency in your life. So it's a simple one-page sheet that's going to just give you some tips and maybe even help you get a little bit more focused on that. So if you would, somewhere on the screen here, just hit the share button, share it to your wall, share it in a group or something like that. I would really, really appreciate that. So for those of you guys who don't know me, and you're just joining me here for Powerful Days with Manny Cabrera, I am the chief instructor and owner at Sidekicks Family Martial Arts Center. We have locations in the Tampa Bay area, one down in the Fishhawk area in Hillsborough County, and one just over the county line in Pasco on County Line Road in Wesley Chapel. And basically what we do is we help children and adults, mostly young people, to really develop into the best version of themselves, both physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially through and we do it through the vehicle of, a really dynamic martial arts program. So I hope that you guys are really excited about today's topic, which basically it's the one principle that you need to have in your life, and we're going to find out it today. So mainly what we're going to do is the one thing that you need to have in your life in order to be successful is you need to have consistency. So there have been periods of my life where this idea of consistency has been really successful, and then there's been periods of my life where I haven't. I've kind of fallen down on the consistency, and if you're like me, then you kind of secretly know what the results, no doubt, have already been. If you're excited about what we're doing, and you have any questions throughout the broadcast, just in the comments below, just let us know that what your question is or what your comment is, and I'm excited to talk to you guys today. So there's been periods of my life where I had just ridiculous amounts of consistency. One of the ways that I've had I've been fairly consistent in my life is through through my business here at Sidekicks Martial Arts. It's something that I have basically embarked on for the entirety of my professional career, my work life. This location here in Fishhawk, we actually started in 2003, so it's been 14 years now. Next month it'll be 14 years since we started, teaching in this community. And throughout that time, I've spent, every single day, work day, coming here to the school. Before I used to teach all the classes. Now I'm kind of more of facilitating, the classes getting done. But still, the consistency of doing it every single day has yielded great results. I'm really, really blessed that, Sidekicks gets to reach, almost 500 families or 500 people every single week through our martial arts program, through our fitness franchise, I Love Kickboxing, as well as through our Israeli self-defense program, Krav Maga, which basically helps, all of these programs help people, to get fit and to become the best, person that they can be. Sometimes it's, is less about self-defense and more about self-perfection. But it's, there's a lot of great things that are happening. There have been other times, in my life where, I haven't been as consistent. One way I could, point to right now would be, with my own physical health. In the last, year or so, I haven't been as consistent with the working out or the eating right as I could, and consequently, it shows with a little extra pounds, around the middle. But we know that we want to become more consistent, and that consistency is going to be the key. So eating right for one day, is not going to help me to lose the extra weight, or it's not going to help you lose the extra weight. But I know we all know that eating right consecutively over a period of 2 weeks, 3 months, a year, a lifetime, that's what's going to yield us the results that we're looking for. And so there was a time in my life where, I was doing, like when I was in college and I was doing poorly in school, and I wasn't, I wasn't attending classes like I should have been, or I wasn't, getting assignments done like I should have been because I had other things that I was focusing on. And then it became, I changed, I changed the way I feel, about things because, I reached a point where, where I didn't want to get the results that I was getting. And the same thing happened in my business, a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago. The school wasn't growing the way it should. I was stressed out because I had, I had a new family, and, there were, times in there where I was working, 100 hours or 80 hours a week, and I wouldn't even get to see my kids. In fact, I can remember, one specific story, where I was running around, and my solution to whatever the problems was to work more. And it was about Christmas time. My kids had been born the previous December. So my twins were born at the end of December, after Christmas. So this is almost a year later, when they were just about, when they were about to turn one. And my dad was, cool enough to come over and was going to kind of watch things for me here at our gym, so that I could go up to Tallahassee where my in-laws live. And, the thing that happened is that I had to stay first for almost a week to work our winter break camp during that time. And so we had kids come, for it's kind of like summer camp, except it's during the winter. And so, getting the opportunity to go up to Tallahassee right before Christmas wasn't something I could do, but my wife and at the time our twins, they were able to go up almost a week before. And so, the week goes by, I do the winter break camp, it's like the last day, my dad lets me cut out, comes in and was able to let me cut out early, and so I finally get on the road. And, the thing that happened was that, I'm driving down the road and I get a text from my wife, Jessica, and she sends me a text and she tells me that Manny, one of our twins, who's also, my name's also Manny, one of our twins, that he had taken his first steps. And I had missed that. And, the challenge is that it really, broke my heart that I missed it. I was feeling a lot of pain at the time. And so I knew that something had to change. I had to sit here and look at my gym as a whole, my schools as a whole, and find out, well, what is the piece that I'm missing? Why is it that we're not, we have a really great martial arts program, and I know we're teaching really great classes, but where are we falling down? And it turns out that, I personally was a lot of the problem. I taught great classes, and I was really consistent and disciplined in a lot of areas, but there were places where I wasn't, whether it was, in making sure I get the marketing out, or, the follow-up was my biggest issue, that I wasn't so great at the follow-up. And even I wasn't so great at the accounting process in our own business. And so, I had to decide, that things needed to be changed. And so I actually enlisted a lot of help. I enlisted a lot of business, business coaching. I got help from my family, and we started to. But it was in the car that I decided I was fed up. I never wanted to miss something that was important in my children's life again. And so, while flash forward, 6 or 7 more years later, or 6 years later or so, I still work a lot, but you know what? I'm there in the morning when they go, when they go to school. I make sure that I hug them. I see them every single day. Whereas at the time, there would be a couple days that would go by and I wouldn't see them when they were awake at all. Like I would leave before they woke up, and I would go home, get home after they were already, in bed for the night. So I had that finality. Like this was enough. I had reached that enough is enough point. And so, things have changed, in Sidekicks. Obviously, we've grown, we have multiple locations now. And we're really working on spreading our vision of helping people to become really the best versions of themselves. Like really, like we're dedicated to giving people the tools that they need to succeed. And we do it through a really great martial arts program. Something I'm really, really excited about. All along that time, though, I have kind of come, up with kind of a formula like that. There really are 3 things that are preventing us from being consistent. It has a lot to do with, the first thing is a lack of purpose. So obviously the first step, of what you will need to do is, you need to define what it is that's your purpose. What is the end result of your goal? I found for me that at least in my martial arts school, that I was still kind of holding on to a goal that I had already achieved the very second that I opened our school. And my goal was to become a professional martial arts instructor. My goal was to do this as my job, as my career. And the very moment that I started teaching, publicly in the Tampa Bay area, like I'd done it. Like that was the goal. I'd reached it. So really, I was trying, I realized I was really trying to solve a problem, so to speak, or solve a thing in my life that I'd already solved at the very beginning. So it was really redefining, like, what is my next act? What is it that I'm really looking to do? And at least, personally, it's, my goal is to, create a life of abundance and, help my family thrive, and like in my own personal life right now, I'm really learning, about, like, I'm getting my financial education, so to speak, and how to become, more of a better steward with money, all of those kinds of things so that my family can live that life of abundance, stability, and, really importantly, security. In my own business, I became the martial arts instructor, and so I had to kind of, change what my goal is, for Sidekicks now. So for Sidekicks, I have 2 main goals. Number 1 is I want to affect, real, valuable, positive change in communities, as many communities as I can reach. And then the second part of it is I want to give real, legitimate careers to people who have outstanding talent and are amazing people. And so those were the 2, kind of the change in like my own thought process that kind of spurred that consistency, that day by day, grind, so to speak, to, help Sidekicks become, what it is so far today. I mean, if you're feeling, kind of what I'm saying so far, go ahead and give me some hearts and some likes. I'd really love to see your response. Anyways, so the first part was, I didn't have a defined lack of purpose, or rather, in my case, my purpose, I'd already achieved my purpose. I hadn't really looked for what the next act was going to be. So the first thing that prevents us from being consistent is that lack of purpose. The second part of it is really not sitting down and having that wherewithal or that self-awareness to, define what your talent is. You aren't consistent with things that you don't really feel confident about. So what is it that what is your wheelhouse, what is your wheelhouse for developing that level of consistency? I realized that, at one point that I was not so good with the bookkeeping and the day-to-day number checking and like the actual work of creating the data or tracking the data. I was good at analyzing the data. I was good at making decisions from data, but the actual like data entry and doing things like paying bills on time and all of those things really wasn't what my talent was. So consequently, like, my mom came on board Sidekicks pretty much full time, and she manages all of the the financials for Sidekicks, as well as make sure that Sidekicks' bills are paid, and all of those things. And she's really, really good at it, because she has, like, that is a talent of hers, is that the discipline and consistency of that position. You aren't consistent with things that you're confident about. So if you're starting a new fitness regimen, but you've never done Olympic weightlifting before, or starting out, trying to do Olympic weightlifting without having done some sort of like beginner course at a CrossFit gym or something like that, is not going to be in your best interests. Doing something else that if you've done bodyweight exercises before, or you've moved your body because you did PE in high school, or you played football in the past, then a bodyweight exercise like a boot camp or I Love Kickboxing or something like that is going to definitely be the thing that is going to help you build that confidence. So you want to kind of go for your strengths in that area. And then the third thing is that you haven't really, made your commitment on paper. Apologize here, my thing got knocked off. You haven't made your commitment on paper, and you need to sit down and read it alone, twice a day, so that you're reminding yourself every single day, like, what it is that you are trying to accomplish. And so morning and night. So, because if you kind of don't write it down, over time, what's going to happen is that it's going to kind of warp and mold into something else that may not be what your original goal is. And so it's just as bad as having not developed your purpose or not developed your plan. You're going to be running into those kinds of situations. So those really are the three things that prevent us from being consistent. If you would do me a solid, you can share this video, and you're going to get the secret worksheet that's going to help you, number one, define what your purpose is, figure out what your talents are, or at least identify a couple of what your talents are, and then, figure out how to make a commitment that's going to, work your way in the direction that you're looking for. So, if you got any comments, I'd be happy to talk to you about them. You just put them in the comments below, and then we're gonna go from there. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So wait another 10 seconds or so, because that's about how long the delay is. All right. So like I said, I really appreciate you watching this video and being online with me today, especially if you caught the live broadcast. You rock. So the main thing is if you share this video, I have a secret worksheet that I will PM you through Facebook or send you by email. And if you want it after this, once you shared it, just say, hey, done in the comment section, or shared in the comment section, and I will send it right over to you. Again, my name is Manny Cabrera, and this has been Powerful Days. I used to tell in all my correspondence with have a powerful day, but recently I've decided to change that. Now, I want to tell you that I want you to make it a powerful day, because ultimately you're in the driver's seat. You have that extreme ownership over maybe not necessarily all of the things that happen in your life, but you definitely have the power and ability to define how you respond to it and the decisions you make based on what happens to you. So it's up to you. Make it a powerful day, guys.